Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to the Crow's Nest. I'm Crystaljoy, Wounded Healer, and I thought today we would do an intuitive monthly message. And so this is a guidance message that's going to help to reflect on the past month and also to know how it is that we can move forward with strength into the month ahead. This is a reading that I found by Biddy Tarot, and I'll link that for you in the description so you can check that out for yourself. There's so much to be found on her website. But this is a reading that since I found it, I've been doing it for myself, and I find it has been just a really powerful tool and resource for me to help me just to navigate my journey and just to stay focused through each of the months. So I thought that we would try it as a collective message. So if you are watching this at the time that I'm posting it, this is going to be for October of 2022. But keep in mind, my messages are timeless. So if you're finding this at another time and it's resonating for your journey, then it's definitely for you. But also, if this message is not resonating, but you do want to try this reading for yourself, I do offer it as a personal as well. So again, you can check the description for all the information that you need on how to book this reading as a personal for yourself. So the first thing that I want to dive into, we'll get right to the stone, actually, the red jasper stone. So this is a stone that I'm really loving, that I felt really guided to place this stone on the deck today. Not only is it held in high regard for its spiritual purposes from many of the ancients, like ancient Egypt, but also there's been a strong message for me in the last few days, a strong channeling about this fire energy, a lot of oranges and reds coming through. So, I feel like that's really going somewhere. And then also with the moon coming up, again, we're talking about the fiery inner warrior within. So, again, more messages coming through about, just this fire energy. The moon will be in Aries. So once again, this fiery energy really coming from a place of just this strong, ignited passion. So really loving the message so far. We're going to go ahead and find out from the tarot what it was that worked for us in the past month to start with, and then we'll dive in from there. We're going to ask a few questions, and then what we're going to do is we'll kind of take a moment to ask ourselves, check in with our intuition to find out what it is that we need to be doing to be moving into the month ahead. And then we will actually ask the cards and see how our intuition is aligning with the messages that are coming through for us. And then we can use that information to navigate how we can adjust our plans, not only based on our intuition, but based on the guidance that's coming through for us. So once again, we're going to get started right away with what it was that worked for us in the past month. A few cards came through, but the High Priestess was on the top, and it was in a transitional energy for me. And what I'm feeling from this is, especially with Mercury retrograde, so many of us have been feeling that. Mercury retrograde is going to be coming to a close up in the early October, so in just a couple of days. So in the time of Mercury retrograde, and I feel like for some time leading up to that, there was a lot of feeling kind of blocked and feeling as though there was a lack of a sense of direction in terms of where to go next with the ascension journey, with the inner healing journey. And what it is now, what it is that has worked was I feel strongly for so many that it's been intuition, really trusting in your intuition. And not just your intuition within yourself, but in terms of the messages that you see, the guidance that you've been getting, there used to be some second guessing. You would see things along your path and you would wonder, could this be what that is really meaning? Could that be what I'm really being told right now? So there's been a lot of that second guessing. And I feel that what's been working is diving in deep into the intuition to best navigate ourselves, to remove that second guessing, that self-doubt. And just really having trust in the journey. I'm hearing patience. I feel like for some, there's also been a lot of trust in regards to divine timing, just knowing that everything is aligning and will come to fruition in the time that it's needed, in the time that everything has been prepared to best receive what it is that is meant to come in for you. So the next question that we want to get into is, what didn't work for us in the past month? So what is it that didn't work for us in this past month? We almost had an appearance there. Who was that? So the Justice card made an appearance with the Two of Cups in reverse. Justice is in reverse as well. So what I'm really getting from this is that what hasn't been working is, I feel a sense of being hard on yourself, being unfair with yourself in regards to your journey. And there's a message about worthiness as well, a feeling of you have been unfair to yourself about how much self-love and self-care you're giving yourself and how focused you are on the inner healing aspects of your journey, because you just are not understanding or believing in how worthy you truly are of the things that I feel like intuitively you know are there for you. And so although you have been coming out of this sense of not trusting your intuition enough, now, even though you have been working this past month in diving in deeper into your intuition and your inner knowing, and although you've been on a motivated path with that, I'm hearing, so you've really been making progress with that, but there's still as an element of you hold back when it comes to yourself. And I was going to mention, when I was talking about the High Priestess, for what it was that did work for us, my throat was getting a little bit itchy. I was feeling some throat chakra activation. I don't know if you heard my voice getting a little bit funny for a moment, but I feel that you've also been being dishonest with yourself. And again, I feel like that really does come down to the feelings of unworthiness, or just really not grasping the depth of how worthy you truly are. So we're going to go ahead and find out next, what is it that we learned in this past month? So we have the King of Swords in reverse. So again, more about this communication, throat chakra. And again, we had that Mercury retrograde. We're still in that energy at the moment. And so I feel like It's almost as though there's been this ability to cut out the noise. I'm hearing that for some, there's just been a lot of chaos in the mind. And so you've been finding out ways to kind of clear the clutter, and find better ways of focusing. I'm also hearing that for some of you, and this resonates for myself, I've been focusing so much on procrastination. Specifically this past month in September was one of my affirmations that I'd set for myself for the month. And so it's something that I have been working on. And so we're talking about finding ways to remove the obstacles in the path. There was a reading I posted so long ago about the stones being removed from the path. And I feel like I'd have to go back and watch that reading again for myself to even remember the details of that reading, but I feel like they could be connected because that's coming up again. But it has been a blockage for you. And the noise that you hear has really been making it hard for you to feel as though you can move forward and dive deep into that healing. And to being more honest with yourself about, and fair with yourself about the worthiness of yourself. I am feeling for some as well, this has been coming through in my readings a lot lately, about anxiety. For some, it's been focusing on, the obstacle for you with what's been creating. It's almost like you're wanting to move forward, but you feel like although you're moving forward, something is slowing you down by pulling you backwards. So there's still that forward movement, but it's like you're working against the wind. There is a lot of wind in this card as well. You can see the trees are moving around quite a bit. There's quite a bit of wind here, or sorry, cloud. So although there's been that forward movement, there has also been this feeling of something has been a resistance. Something has been putting a resistance on you to move forward more quickly than you have been. And so it's been learning about, for some, it's been quite simply learning that has been an obstacle for you, that your own fears, your own anxieties, and your own, some of you, it's a literal disregard for the healing. And so you're recognizing that you are in the control, you have the power to release that. And so what you've been learning are ways to cope with that anxiety. And also learning the ways on how that is connecting to the areas of your life that you're wanting to move forward in, but are feeling as though something has just been pulling you back from allowing you to move forward as the way you feel you should be. So what we're going to find out next is what is going to be the theme for the month ahead. And right as I said that, we had the 9 of Cups coming out in the upright position. And so the theme for the month ahead, this is so great because I just spoke about a disregard for the healing. And we're talking about, releasing anxieties and fears and worries and the connection that all makes to how that's slowing us down in our journey. This is all being released. And so what is going to happen is essentially we are going to be filling up our cup. We are no longer going to be unfair and no longer not standing in our truth, no longer properly communicating with the self. Now it's quite the opposite. It's a reversal of all of that, and taking what we have learned and now really focusing on restoring and replenishing. I'm hearing spiritual warfare. For some, there's been just feeling so depleted. You feel as though the last little while along the journey has just, like, I'm feeling like 5 of Pentacles energy, just like really, really feeling kind of beat down and just feeling out in the cold. And again, this sense of this, you've been feeling like this lack of direction, just not really knowing where to go with the journey. And again, that sense of lack of direction really did come from this place of, it was almost as though too much logic was put into it, that it was like there was an element of becoming too focused on what the mind has to say and not trusting in your intuition and your soul and your heart. And that is what, for some, what has caused some of this procrastination, this inability to move forward with haste, with the, I'm hearing with the adaptability that that you possess. And so again, it's a reversal of all of that. And so with the month ahead, as long as we're remembering to take the information, the things that we are able to reflect on from the past month and what we learned from that, if we can continue to keep that information present with us as we move into the month ahead, then it's going to help us to be able to replenish and restore and feel rejuvenated and feel not just a sense of fulfillment from within, but I'm also feeling for some, the sense of fulfillment is going to be coming from, I'm almost feeling like someone is, kind of like at a fair, right? And putting on display what you feel you should be accomplished for, but not on display for anyone but yourself. This is like you're in your own carnival. You're enjoying your own space, your own energy, your own accomplishments. You're reflecting on that. And through that sense of reflecting on yourself and giving a moment to yourself to, allow yourself to feel rewarded from within for the work that you've been doing. And again, trusting in your intuition for the things that are coming in for you up ahead. This is going to be reflected externally as well. And so while you're in that energy, your external world is also going to gravitate towards you in a way that is going to make you feel like you are a grand prize winner. There's just going to be so many things coming in, not just from within, but from around you, because you are going to take what you have learned and what you have reflected on from this past month and use that as your guide to get you through the month ahead. Once I said to get you through the month ahead, I felt hesitant on that. Not so much through the month ahead, but just in general, not even through the month ahead, just from this point on. I'm really drawn to the way we can see this individual just sitting so firmly here. And this is the energy that I feel is not just in this next little upcoming while, but just indefinite. This is an energy that within you is going to be here to stay. So we're going to go ahead now and take a moment and ask ourselves 3 goals and intentions that we can set for ourselves based on what it is that we've learned and are reflecting on, that can help us to navigate through the month ahead. So take a moment to think about that. And I'm going to go ahead and get 3 cards on that and see if what it is that you are feeling based on this message should be your focus for the month ahead. We'll see if that's in alignment with the guidance that's going to come through for us. So once again, just think of three goals, 3 intentions for the month ahead. This is very interesting. I had 4 cards fall out. I thought it was actually just 2 cards because of the way that they were positioned together, but it turns out there's 4 of them. I feel like we're going to go ahead and stick with those as well. Little bonus for today. Yes. Before I even turn those over, right away, the first 2 cards, we have the Death in reverse and the Star in reverse. So again, I feel that this is all speaking about reflecting inward and making sure that we are taking the lessons learned about the things that we need to release, the things that we need to put to death within. And again, the release is releasing the distrust in our intuition and in how our soul is guiding us. That's very interesting message for myself right there. And again, we see that coming through with the Justice and the 2 of Cups in reverse. So again, just continuing to not only bring forward the lessons learned, but to continue to work on releasing those fears and worries and anxieties and the obstacles that we put in our way that are slowing down our pace. And again, just continuing to work on releasing, not trusting in the messages that we feel that we are receiving. And also remembering to take that time for the replenishment, for the nourishment, because it's not just about taking the lessons with us that will help us to align with the 9 of Cups energy, this being rewarded. It's also about, once again, being fair to yourself, and having compassion for yourself. And when I speak about compassion for yourself, it's also about having the knowing to when it is that we need to be taking self-care, and the self-care that we are needing to replenish ourselves. We can't just expect replenishment to come in. We have to put that work in just as much to care for our physical vessel as we do for our inner healing, for our ascension journey. So a message about not only working within ourselves by putting those things to death that are limiting us from moving forward at the rate that we can be, but also making sure that we're caring for ourselves externally. I love that. I'm understanding now why we're getting this separation in these messages here, because we're talking about as above, so below. So let's see here. Again, we're getting a message about, the intuitive guidance that you should be aligned with is, as we're talking about now having a better trust in our intuition and a better knowing and understanding and trust in our worthiness, being able to take those messages that are being given to us, the downloads and the inspiration and the motivation, and being able to use that and put it to good use for our inner and outer journey, for this as above, so below energy. And not just being able to see the messages and trusting them, but I feel a strong sense of being able to pull resources out of this information that, as long as you continue to focus on allowing your intuition to guide you, the information that you're going to receive through the messages that you get and the guidance that you receive and the downloads, they're going to be strong tools for you that you can literally use to help you in your journey. Whether that is in regards to, I'm seeing like work, finances, like building your financial stability, but also in terms of yourself, your inner self, that inner warrior. And as we step more into our worthiness and getting back on track to our intuition and removing the stones in our path that were blocking us from all of that intuitive learning and knowingness and teachings that we've already received. For some of you, it's like information that you already learned, but somehow something disconnected you from the remembrance of that information and how to utilize it. So again, going back to being able to use what's going to be coming in as tools and resources that you can quite literally use to assist you in the things that you are working on in your external and internal realities. And as you continue to do that, it's this stepping into a more firm ability and knowing of what is on the horizon for you, and looking at it with feeling quite adventurous about it and not feeling so worn down about it. That 5 of Pentacles energy that I was feeling, like you really feel like you were just like put through the ringer from spirit and your journey. And as we move through what we've gathered from this message, it's now the ability to no longer feel as though That's the procrastination for some of you, is feeling that if I move forward, I'm just going to get put through the ringer again, and I still need to rejuvenate myself more before I can do that. And so yes, take the time to rejuvenate yourself some more if you feel that's what's needed, but don't let that be what's blocking you. Don't use that as an excuse. I was feeling that some of you really are disregarding that inner healing. You're making up excuses for yourself to avoid that because you don't want to be put through the ringer again, or you just you feel like you've been through enough and you haven't heard the bell yet. But as we continue to move through this energy from the messages, it's now no longer having that fear, that worry, or that anxiety that we're going to be put through the ringer. And that even though along the journey there will be, we'll win some and we'll lose some, and it won't necessarily be anymore about focusing on what was lost. It's about focusing on, well, what we won, what we've obtained and learned and are able to take with us along the journey. That can help us to just to continue to move forward. But it's, our intentions that we are going to stay firm in through this month are going to help us to no longer dwell on what was lost, and just being able to move forward now with that haste towards the things that were achieved along the way, even if they were less in quantity. But now we're seeing that the quality of what we have been given, although in the physical sense it was less than what we feel we've been given in the past, it's now feeling and seeing the rewards that come from that are not just going to be coming in and that we can focus on, but that we are also going to be receiving as we focus on that. So the more that we are going to be focusing on what we're obtaining versus what we're losing, and the quality of that versus the quantity, more quantity will come in, more of those rewards. Like I was saying, it's just like this feeling of like a deliverance, like things just being brought to you. I don't even know what deliverance means. I feel like that could be a movie or something. So you could look into that, or maybe you know what it means. You can let me know what it is so I don't have to Google it. But I'm going to look into it because I feel like, again, there was just a really strong message there for someone. But again, if this did resonate with you, you might want to look into the extended as well. We're going to dive into the Earth Warrior that's going to be with us for the month, the Seeds of the Sacred Feminine Guidance, and we're also going to get an inspiration affirmation that we can use for the month just to help us to stay firm with this message, with this guidance. And also you can reach out for a personal and get this message for yourself based on your own personal journey, because again, this message is general, so it won't resonate with everyone. And all the information you need for that is down below. I'll see you all in my next video.